the Balls Podcast
with Mark Davis, Kriska Meinhardt, Luke Rule, Jake Winnikine, Alan Tomasella, and Nick the Doc Skirkle. Well, we are in the Sack House tonight. It is a beautiful Tuesday night, for me at least in South Carolina. I'm not sure about Florida and Tennessee at the moment, but it is a beautiful night. We're coming off week 7 of the NFL season, week 8 of the college football season. The NBA is officially tipped off. Hockey's dropped the puck a couple weeks ago, I believe. World Series is this Friday. I mean, this is a wonderful time of the year. This is when everything's going on. And I'm going to be joined alongside right now Jake Winnikine and Luke Rule. Chris is joining us very, very shortly. And Luke, I'm going to start with you, man. You know, I get it Saturday night, UCF. They put Iowa State, number 9 Iowa State, by the way, on the ropes. That's good, in my opinion. I thought your quarterback played good compared to the past ones. And then, of course, the Baltimore Ravens last night are maybe answering the question for everyone. Maybe they are the best team in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great weekend for football. I mean, I didn't watch too much Saturday night just because I was out in Nashville doing Nashville things.
You were talking a lot of shit like you were watching it.
Oh, yeah. Well, my buddy was a big Georgia fan, so he was
okay.
He was cued into the game. Yeah, he was cued into the game. So whenever he said something, I'm like, oh, wait, let me shoot that at my buddies.
Yeah, okay. you were quick. You seemed like you were like on top of it. You were pretty quick.
No, when we were driving out there, he had the Sirius playing in the truck.
Oh, okay.
So the Sirius was like it's a lot more like on time than than just watching on like YouTube TV or something like that. Yeah, like, it's actually live, not like your 10-15 second delay or whatever the delay is on TV. So it was live. So I was like,
yeah.
I was probably sending shit out before you even saw the play.
you kind of were, because I saw bench ears. I'm like, I haven't even seen the play yet. I'm like, something bad probably happened right here.
Yeah, he probably threw a pick or something.
It was a bad game. We're going to talk about that definitely tonight. Jake, You know, the DJ Lagway era started. I mean, I get it. He had some bad plays, but he looked good, in my opinion, for what they're asking him to do his first year in the system. And your 49ers, we're going to talk about them. They seem to be dead right now.
Dead in the water. Florida, I mean, we looked all right. We got the W. I'll take it. On Sunday was a terrible day of football. You just can't beat Mahomes for one, and then we're just destroyed. We're not healthy. It's season over for the Niners.
That's what it seems like. We're going to talk about them. Chris, you know, we're talking about the weekend. You know, your New Orleans Saints started the NFL weekend with a nice blowout loss against the Denver Broncos. Return of Drew Brees and Sean Payton were there. And then your LSU Tigers, though, they seem like they might be the real deal in the SEC. So how was the weekend, my friend?
The weekend was good because I didn't have to watch the Saints, you know. Unfortunately, I didn't get that news that Dennis Allen was getting fired. But LSU went on the road, tough road game, and showed out.
Oh, and big win for Dynasty, too. I heard that you were going to lose this week no matter what happened in the lineup changes.
Yeah, the commissioner did try to do some illegal shit. We're gonna have to investigate him. Because he tried to do some sketchy stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I got a phone call. I got a phone call about 30 minutes.
I would have had less points I would have had less points if you kept the lineup. If you kept the lineup, you adjusted. I would have had less points. Well,
I got a phone call like
12:30.
I got a phone call like 12:30 from Luke saying, "Hey, I can't make lineup changes," and I was like, I've never seen this before. I've never kept the guys on IR. You know, his guy was on IR Thursday, so probably that's why instead of compared to Sunday when they play. But yeah, Luke says, I can't make this lineup change. Can you put Waddle and A-Chain in? So I put him in, and then I said, Luke, you better have my back, people bitch. And everyone bitched. And I was like, oh, never mind. I'm just going back to the way it was.
I was like, what is this guy doing?
No, I literally couldn't do anything in my lineup. I didn't know they don't give you a notification that somebody your IR spot came off IR.
And you're supposed to check daily, though.
Then he played Thursday. I don't fucking check every day. I'm sorry.
We probably also didn't think you had a Saints player, too. That's probably what it was.
Yeah, well, I kind of forgot he was in my IR slot. He's been there for so long. And that guy finally played for once. So I was like, I didn't even know he came off IR until I tried to make my roster moves like 10 minutes before the game time. I'm like, fuck, I can't move anything. I couldn't drop him. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't even drop any player.
Yeah.
It was a strong weekend for the football team. Didn't have
Yeah,
a
it
quarterback,
was.
and had Juju in my super flex. Didn't realize he wasn't playing.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, it was good. Your quarterback obviously didn't play, but no, yeah, the weekend was shit for me, honestly. Well, it started off pretty well. Saturday was good and bad because you see the hat right now. The New York Yankees are in the World Series. Only thing that I could celebrate for the past weekend, my football teams looked like shit. Texas got dominated. Atlanta got dominated. It was just a bad weekend for football for myself as well. I get to hang my hat on the New York Yankees. So if I can sacrifice that, I guess, for a World Series trip, it's one thing I have a silver lining on. But guys, we have a pretty big episode tonight. I was showing Jake that the storylines we're going to be talking about tonight, and we have we're going to start with Luke's team, Baltimore Ravens. Man, honestly, they came out yesterday, and I get it was a 10-point game at the end, but they put the hammer on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa started off hot, and then Mike Evans got hurt, and we'll talk about their severity of injuries that's going on. But in my opinion, the Baltimore Ravens are the best AFC team, if not the best NFL team. And that's what I want to ask you guys is, I get it, the Chiefs are 6-0, and the Ravens lost to them week 1. But if you're talking right now, are the Ravens the best team in the AFC?
Guess you want me to start this? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're the Ravens fan.
I think they are. Obviously, they're the team playing the best currently. Yeah, it took them a couple of weeks to start getting figured out. Defense still needs a little bit of work. Baker got him the first 2 drives, 3 drives until he made a poor decision and threw a pick. And they started digging themselves a hole, and Baker tries to do too much in that point, and kind of the game got away from him a little bit until fourth quarter, and Ravens do what we do best, is make games interesting at the end of the game.
Yeah, I think they're the best team in the AFC, if not the NFL right now. I think they're saving Henry. There's a lot of whole possessions where he's not even touching the field. Just wait till it comes to the playoffs. I think they're gonna unleash him. Not even have to throw the ball as much. This team's scary.
He still had 180 rushing yards too.
He drives off completely too.
And he because Jake was chatting for the first half. He's like, "Yo, where's Henry?" And I was saying the same thing. I had Henry in fantasy, so I'm always hammering feed the beast. And I'm like, "Yo, what the fuck's going on?" Henry's just not. It's kind of like the Chiefs game all over, where he got that early touchdown, and then they kind of didn't really use him as much. And then the second half came out, and he broke an 81-yard run, his second longest of the season, by the way. It's crazy.
Yeah, he was too slow. Couldn't finish it.
And then you have Lamar blocking for him on a 40-yard run, down the sideline. So it's okay, there's Derrick Henry. And then when he goes out for that pass, I'm like, hey, just hit Derrick Henry. He's wide open. This Ravens team, Chris, I get what Luke was saying about the pass defense. If they don't get to the quarterback, they allow a lot of yards in the pass. They get to the quarterback a lot, though. I think this defense will figure it out, at least when it comes to protecting, the pass. And I just don't know who can stop them. The AFC, the Texans don't look strong. The Chiefs, yeah, they play great defense, but I don't know if they can keep up with this Ravens offense at the moment.
Yeah, Lamar's looking good. He looks like a quarterback, 17 for 22, 281 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Bateman finally showed up. He had a couple long balls there. Mark Andrews, 2 touchdowns.
He's back.
2 tutties.
He's back, baby. He's back.
Back-to-back week with touchdowns.
I know. He might be back. So
had a good catch on the sideline, too.
Yeah, that toe drag.
Offense is looking good.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any team in the AFC, though, right now that you think could beat them besides the Chiefs? Obviously, because it's the Chiefs, but any other team like Buffalo, Houston?
Well, we've already beat Buffalo, so.
Well, yeah, but it's just different now because they got Amari Cooper. So let's see now with the receiver if they can actually. I'm not saying they're going to beat you. I'm just saying it's a little
Amari Cooper wouldn't have changed the outcome of that game.
No. And the only thing that would kill the Ravens is if playoff Lamar shows up. Hopefully we get a different Lamar, but if they show up in the playoffs like they're playing now, I don't think anyone's going to beat them. You got to worry about the Mahomes. They show up in the playoffs, obviously. But I'm not scared of if I was Ravens, I'm not scared of Buffalo. I'm not scared of the Texans. Stroud looks horrible. Got one of the most high-powered offenses and can't do anything. So, it's the Ravens for the taking. This year's wide. There's not a ton of teams where it's it's going to be dangerous. There's 2 or 3, maybe 4 teams that even have a chance, in my opinion.
And Chris mentioned looking like a quarterback. He's 5th in passing with yards. He's second in touchdown passes. I get it. Love missed some games, so Love would probably be leading the league if he played all the games. And only 2 interceptions, and he's second in QBR. So this is Lamar's. Like I was telling you, Jake, before we came on. Like this reminds me of the 2019 season where Lamar did everything, but it's a different field because it's not a bunch of running backs with Lamar. It's Derrick Henry, which opens up so much for Lamar Jackson. Zay Flowers has been looking great the last 3 weeks. You mentioned Rashad Bateman, Chris, and Mark Andrews is back. So, I mean, I don't know, man. It's crazy to see. Good to see. I'm an honorary Ravens fan until you just fuck up Derrick Henry. So don't fuck him up, Luke. I'll be rooting for you all year. Yeah, shout out to you too, Bo. Yeah, Seahawks did take it, man. You guys took it to us. You guys usually do, though. But the other half of that game, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I mentioned Mike Evans went down with a hamstring. Jake was all over it last night. He's going to miss about 4 weeks because of the bye week. And then dislocated ankle for Chris Godwin, who was one of the best receivers in football. So with that being said, are the Bucs in trouble? Can they survive maybe the next few weeks? 3 games, let's say that he misses 3 games. Can they survive the next 3 weeks without Mike Evans and then the remainder of the year with just Mike Evans?
No, Bucs are done. Even if they somehow survive, I mean they got the Niners without Mike Evans and Godwin. I mean the Niners, but I mean their schedule's not cake. But even if they survive, like they got to have both of them. I mean unless, Cooper Kupp, someone's on there's players on a trade block, but unless they make a move with that, they're not going to do it. Godwin's done for the year. Mike Evans is they're saying at least week 12, and it's probably going to linger. It's a bad hamstring injury, so he's probably going to be hobbled the rest of the season. I don't see it.
They do play the Falcons, the Chiefs on Monday night, and then the 49ers right before their bye week. That's their next 3 games.
Tough little stretch.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying we're great, but we saw what the Falcons did against their defense, and then without the offense, without Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, can guys like Jalen McMillan, Sterling Shepard, who has chemistry with Baker because of college, and he had some decent plays earlier in the year when McMillan was hurt. Can the run game get going too? The run game started off strong against the Ravens, but like Luke said, they dug themselves in a hole, so the run game was irrelevant after they caught or they fell behind.
Yeah, I think they're going to pull out all 3 running backs next week because all 3 are playing pretty well. White, Tucker, and was it Bucky Irving?
Yeah.
So all 3 are playing well. I keep White on the field pretty much every down, use him as primary pass catcher, and then put Bucky out there and run the football with him. But they're gonna have to get creative on the offense. Because that's 2 huge losses that they'll be missing for at least the next 3 weeks.
It sucks because I don't wish injury upon any of the teams, and it sucks because I'm going to the game this week. I actually wanted to see Godwin and Mike Evans. Like I'm going to a Bucs Falcons game. I want to see the two of the best players on the Bucs team. I haven't a chance to see Mike Evans and I think I saw Evans as a rookie, but that was a rookie Mike Evans. You didn't know anything what he was going to be yet in his career. And Godwin's, they said he's leading the league, or he was leading the league in receptions coming into the week. So it is a big loss. Their defense isn't the strongest already. So their defense has to wake up a little bit. And you mentioned, Jake, what was that, Luke?
Their defense was living and dying by the blitz. Yep. They just stacked the box every play against the Ravens, and that's probably why the Ravens didn't run the ball so much in the first half. They were blitzing some Mars, just throwing over their head.
Well, they said last night that they are the most blitz team in the NFL, like throughout the whole the year.
They had it. They had like the box stacked. The linebackers are like the 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Another thing too. Is you mentioned Cooper Kupp. Someone mentioned in the Discord the former offense coordinator for the Rams is the OC for the Bucs. So he has chemistry with Cooper Kupp. Is Kupp a name? Would the Bucs be willing to give him a 2nd-round pick, or maybe try and talk him down to like a 3rd for Cooper Kupp? Try and get him out there. I mean, another guy that has injury issues the last few years too. So
yeah, I mean they got to do something because they can't rely on that defense to hold them these next 3, 4, whatever games. They're not strong enough there. Like they got to make a move and then hope for the best. Or if they're going to wait all the way to the end of the deadline and see if they're contenders anymore, it's going to be too late.
Yeah, it sucks because I know Luke was high on the Bucs. He's on the Bucs the last couple. Well, actually, he's probably been high on the Bucs since Brady's been there, and then post Brady with Baker as well. So Luke had them 10 or 11 wins this year, and
yeah, they've been good. I mean, it sucks.
Yeah, Baker's playing great.
Start dipping down because of injuries, but that's part of the game.
Yeah, it sucks.
I went through their schedule earlier today, and I still had them at 9 wins with the injuries. If Evans comes back on time and whatnot, I had them at still 9 wins, but not enough to win the NFC South, and then not enough to make the playoffs as a wild card because the NFC North is too dominant, and the NFC East could get 2 teams as well with the Eagles and Commanders. So I just don't think the Bucs have enough to make a wild card spot. If Evans is there, maybe, but it's just I don't know, man. Like you said, it's gonna linger.
Mm-hmm.
Boys, the Detroit Lions. We mentioned the AFC, right, with Luke and the Ravens. The Lions came out and they beat the only NFC unbeaten team remaining, the Minnesota Vikings, 31-29. And their offense did give up a defense touchdown for the Vikings. So really, their defense held in check, in my opinion. I thought their defense looked pretty well against the Vikings. And the question now is, are they the best NFC team? Like when it comes down to it, I had them as the number 1 team before the season, obviously with Aiden Hutchinson. Are the Detroit Lions still arguably the best NFC team in the NFL?
Yeah, I mean that's the way it looks right now. Currently at the moment they are because they beat the current best team.
Yeah.
It was a good game though. That game was kind of a lot of back and forth. Vikings went up, and Lions came back, and they kind of paced out and hung out to the end. But they hit a game-winning field goal, right?
Yeah, it was a game-winning field goal.
Yeah.
Game-winning field. Yeah. Jahmyr Gibbs kind of brought them down there on his little pass and run.
Yeah, I think Montgomery. I don't remember
Montgomery.
What his injury looks like. Is he back? He go back in the game?
Well, he's one that allowed the fumble. He got punched in the fourth quarter.
I thought he went out of the game for a while. I don't remember if he ever came back or not.
I think it was because of the fumble. I think Jahmyr Gibbs. He got hurt earlier in the game, and then Jahmyr came out and continued to ball out. And then when he fumbled the ball, they kept Jahmyr Gibbs in the rest of the game. It seemed like that the rest of the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I didn't know if he. I watched like the whole morning slate strictly on Red Zone, so I don't remember if he came back in or not.
No, he was back in. Yeah, he came. He missed a little bit, but he played the fourth quarter. That's like I said. He allowed the fumble. He was a perfect punch. Jake, you had concerns with this defense. Do you still have concerns, or did they look pretty good against the Vikings?
It looked good. I'm not going to knock anything that they did against the Vikings. But I mean, long term, we'll see if they hold out. But NFC is there for the taking. Like this is the Lions' chance to win a Super Bowl, or at least make it to the Super Bowl. NFC is weak.
I think the NFC is better than the AFC this year. I actually do.
I don't. I mean, who else is
I think the NFC's got more middle tier teams than the AFC.
Yeah,
so AFC's more top heavy. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, because I mean, Niners are done. That whole division's done. The NFC least, that division's done. No one's winning the Super Bowl out of there. I mean, you got Detroit's division. Yeah, I mean, Green Bay, Detroit, Minnesota. Like they could.
Or Chicago. They're 4-2. They have a great defense. They do have a great defense.
They do, but I'm not picking Chicago to win the Super Bowl.
Oh no. No rookie quarterback I will ever pick to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah. So I mean,
matter who it is.
I mean, who's going to beat the Lions besides their own division? I mean, it's there for the taking. If the window's open, like this is the year. I mean, they got the players. Goff is playing absolutely amazing.
Last 4 weeks.
And I'm not a Goff fan at all, but man, Goff is balling. He's up there with Lamar right now as my 2 MVPs, and there's not a close third. Like those two, in my eyes, are battling for the MVP.
What sucks. We're going to talk about. I think Derrick Henry would be a good option, but since if this was last year when Lamar had his MVP, this would be the year that a running back would win MVP. I know Chris McCaffrey didn't do it last year, but
yeah, but I mean, to be a running back in MVP, you got to have 2,500 yards.
Like, he's on pace. He's on pace.
Yeah, he's on pace to break the record, the single season rookie record. So
he's averaging like 6-7 yards a carry, 120 something yards a game. Like we're gonna talk MVP in a minute, but I don't know, man.
Carry last night.
Yeah, 11 yards. We had said those 2 big runs, 3 big runs, or no, 2 big runs. I think the Lions defense, like I said, I was concerned. Yeah, it's Aiden Hutchinson. Of course, you're gonna be concerned, but I felt that the rest of the guys were still good pieces on the defensive line. The corners, that was my issue. when it comes to the lines. And I still want to see it, like you said, long term. I want to see Carlton Davis and the rookies. I have no questions with the safeties. I think Kirby Joseph and I think Brian Branch are two good safeties. Well, Brian Branch is, in my opinion, one of the top safeties in the NFL.
Those corners still got fucking burnt all game long too. Jefferson's a monster. I don't think there's really any corner that's really going to lock him down.
If there's a corner available at the deadline, I think Detroit needs to be going after a corner.
I don't understand why the Vikings also didn't run the ball more with Aaron Jones, because Aaron Jones was average 6.6 yards a carry, 14-93 and a touchdown. I mean, and he was involved in the passing game early on, 3 for 23. I don't get why they went away from Aaron Jones. I mean, you keep the Lions off the field if you run the ball. That's the way I believe the philosophy would have been. I get it. You have Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, but Aaron Jones was moving the ball early in the game. I don't get why they went away from it so early.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And those rumors can't be true, right, about Stafford? Like that.
Yeah, that was weird. That was weird. Yeah, there was rumors that Stafford will be traded to Minnesota. Darnold would sign long term with Sean McVay. I don't get it. I don't
know. I'm not saying anything. It's definitely rumors, but it just wouldn't make so much sense for Minnesota to change the whole offense right now.
Because Stafford can make it work probably, but would you take a chance where he has to come in and he has to learn? Like, that's chemistry. Like, he doesn't have chemistry with these guys. So, it was different. It was different when he got traded to the Rams in the offseason because you build that offseason rapport with him.
And you just drafted JJ. Like, are you going to trade for Stafford, literally go all in and try to win Super Bowl one year?
You can sit JJ for another year. Let him sit on the bench and learn from a guy like Matthew Stafford. I get that portion. JJ's young. He was the youngest quarterback in the draft, so he has plenty of years ahead of him if he's healthy. I don't know. I thought that was I put it in there because I didn't know if it was true or not.
Yeah, I saw it. I mean, I didn't have time to super investigate it, but I did see it a few other places. So I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, Luke, this next topic was for you, man, because you wanted him on the cover last week. Russell Wilson came into Pittsburgh this week. He struggled a little bit to start off this. Obviously understandable. He didn't play much preseason, didn't get much playing time, but he came out
preseason. I don't think
he played a little bit. He played a couple. It was I think it was the second game, and I think that's where it kind of lingered from there. Yeah. But once he settled in, he was 16 of 29 for 264, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. I mean, rushing touchdown, but it was a sneak, just like Mike Tomlin said, just a sneak. But is Russell Wilson going to continue this play? And I actually looked at their schedule too. I think Pittsburgh can easily win 12 games this year.
Yeah, I mean, Russ looked good. They finally got a quarterback to throw the ball downfield. Russ was unlimited.
Mr. Unlimited.
He was Mr. Unlimited. He did it. He did it at the best time too. Primetime game against the Jets. Jets. All eyes were on the Jets pretty much that game, just because they got Devontae Adams, and he went out there and did his thing. And I think he earned himself the starting role just because of that game being in prime time, winning, passing the ball, made a big game for Pickens. He finally got like a 100-yard receiving game,
5 for 111 and a touchdown.
Yeah,
and a good catch too, because he did throw it short against Pickens on one down the right side of the field.
That one-handed catch he had while he was draped.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good throw too.
Yeah, well, he hit him perfect too. Right.
Oh yeah,
right in the
shoulder pad.
pocket. Yeah.
So, the run game too looked phenomenal. Najee Harris has been good the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, once you open up the passing game, then it's going to open up the run game. Like their running backs they're very physical runners. They just need a little bit of space to get them going. Kind of like Derrick Henry, where if you get Derrick Henry a couple yards downfield, he's tough to bring down. And that's the same way with the Steelers running backs. You get them going a little bit, they're tough to tackle. So I mean, everything that offense looked like it gelled a lot more with Russell Wilson than Justin Fields. Justin Fields, I don't know why everybody's saying that he's been playing so good. He has not. He runs the ball good. Yeah. He's got 10 touchdowns and 1 interception or 2 interceptions, whatever it is. Yeah, because he's barely thrown the fucking football. Yeah, dude's terrible. Like, you see how many incompletions he has and how far those incompletions are off. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I agree with you're spot on everything right there. This was the best thing that could have happened to the running backs and to Pickens in that offense, because now they have a passing game. So obviously Pickens is going to get his, but it opens up the run because you have a passing game. I'm glad he played well for him, but the starting job 100% is his, because the locker room was calling for Russ. Like the players were behind Russ. It wasn't just, the coach was torn between which quarterback to play. Like the locker room wanted Russ. They knew that he was the quarterback that was going to get the best out of the players. So I'm glad he played good. And obviously we all hate the Jets. So I know, well, at least I know I do. I'm glad they got beat down. But
we're gonna talk about them in a second.
I mean, I wouldn't mind the Steelers getting beat down quite a bit too. So.
Yeah, I think Luke is pulling for the.
They can put Fields back in.
just because all these trades with Adams and I love seeing the Jets lose. But no, he looked really good. He looked better than I thought he was going to look because he has. I mean, he looked decent last year. He had his moments, but he has looked pretty washed. But he looked good. Pittsburgh, obviously, they're going to be over 500. Tomlin's always over 500.
Dude, they might be. I'm telling you, they might be 11 or 12 win team. Like
they got the players. If Russ can even be a little over mediocre, I mean,
yeah.
And he was, as long as he is, I think they'll be fine. But for sure, best thing to have in a Pickens and the running backs.
And this is like no shot at like Luke or the Ravens, but like they're tied with the Ravens. Lamar's Achilles heel team is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Not saying that they're going to win the division, but I could see the Steelers somehow snatch. Not saying they're going to, but I could see them snatching and competing with the division. Now they have to continue because the defense is electric too. We're not even mentioning the defense with T.J. Watt, Alex Highsmith who's back, Joey Porter Jr., Patrick Queen. I get it. Like Luke, you were saying, you saw stuff earlier. Patrick Queen to me is not playing bad. Yeah, he's not getting sacks and tackles, but he's actually all over the ball. He's where the ball's at. He's cleaning up. But that's fine. He's there to help clean shit up. And this defense is still electric. It's the best defense in the division for sure. I'll give him that.
It's always good. Tomlin always has a good defense. Steelers always have a good defense.
It's sickening too that Arthur Smith, you give him a somewhat competent quarterback and he looks like a good coordinator. Why the fuck couldn't we do that with Atlanta? Like, why couldn't we just give him a quarterback in Atlanta? Like, I'm not saying Smith is a great coach. He picked
the wrong one.
Well, I mean, he didn't get one. I think if you would have gave him Cousins, he would be fine. I don't think Arthur Smith's a good play caller. I think the managing of the team itself, managing timeouts, managing the clock, he was kind of shit there. But as a coordinator, I've always thought he's been good. I mean, he got Ryan Tannehill paid.
He's not a good head coach. He's a good coordinator.
Exactly. But no, it's gonna be interesting, Luke, to see the black and gold or the black and yellow and the purple and black back at it.
Competing for the division. Here pretty soon, a couple of weeks.
Yeah, you guys play them November 17th.
Yeah, a few weeks from now. We got the Browns next week, so
bye week.
No, Jameis is playing now, so I don't know.
We
don't know what he's gonna do.
Well, you guys aren't on a bye week, are you?
Yeah, they're playing the Browns.
Okay, yeah. Oh yeah, Jameis is back.
No, I was saying no because Jameis is playing now. We don't know what that guy's gonna do with the football.
We haven't seen him play in over a year neither.
He played last week.
Well, I mean,
he threw a touchdown.
They brought somebody else up too. Did they bring another quarterback up today?
They signed Bailey Zappi.
Yeah.
Zappi.
Zip it on the ball, Zappi.
Yeah, Zappi.
They signed him to the active roster too.
Well, I think DTR is hurt.
Yeah, I think so.
Well,
that's the whole reason Jameis played last week because he was the emergency quarterback.
Yeah.
Speaking of being hurt, you go, Jake.
I was just gonna say that they could thank the Niners for those emergency quarterbacks because they wouldn't have had a quarterback yesterday or on Sunday.
That's true. Jake, you mentioned Luke. You did too. The New York Jets. They fired old Bob, right? Robert Saleh, and the 2 games that they have fired him. The rushing defense, that's where he was a good coordinator. That was right defense. They've allowed 149 yards both to the Bills and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Exactly 149 yards each game. The defense has gotten worse for the Jets. The offense, yeah, they've gotten somewhat a little better, I guess you can say. It's not like it's much better. I think they're a lot better against the Bills than they were against the Steelers. Rightfully so, better defense with Pittsburgh. But the New York Jets are still a mess, and they have a tough one. Well, easy one this week, and then the Texans following that on a short week on Halloween night. So, can the Jets still turn this around, or are they just going to continue to be a mess throughout the rest of the season?
Well, I think they're too far behind in the division now because the whole division's got 1 or 2 wins except the Bills. They're sitting at 5. So I mean, they're going to need the Bills to start losing some games too if they want to have a shot at this. So I mean,
they're looking at wild card probably, in my opinion. That's what they're looking at.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough because like the Bills are running away with that division right now. So I mean, they have to go on some sort of run here in the next few weeks to get it really going if they want to have a shot at making the playoffs.
I don't think their schedule. Their schedule to me is not that challenging. Now, there's some games. You have Buffalo and Miami. We don't know what they're going to be back when Tua gets back this week, and then you have Houston. I don't know. The rest of the schedule doesn't seem that challenging. Like, can 10 and 7 get them in the playoffs? Can they? What, they're 2 and 5 right now? The Jets are.
I think so. So
yeah, 2 and 5.
You think they only dropped 2 more games?
Well, I mean, so they have the Jets, the Texans, the Cardinals, the Colts, the Seahawks, the Dolphins, the Jaguars, the Rams, the Bills, and then the Dolphins again.
They're dropping a whole lot more than 2 of those.
You think so? I mean, I really don't know, because now they're getting Hassan Reddick back. Maybe that changes the defense a little bit. I don't know what the Jet. I want to believe in them. That's the thing. I want to believe so big or so much into the Jets, but every week it's just something different. Aaron Rodgers, the first thing he makes an excuse for is don't listen to the media, and then he takes accountability for himself. So it's like, you are the media. You get paid. You got paid today to be on Pat McAfee, which means you are the media. So it's just the whole thing it's terrible right now.
Yeah, they're a mess.
And Saleh is not the problem. Not the only problem.
Saleh was not the problem, and Saleh is a defensive mastermind. So I mean, that defense looked worse without him than it did with him. So I mean, good luck in proving that. But Davante Adams was just a Band-Aid on top of a messed up team. I mean, they got more problems than just needing another receiver. I don't know. I don't see a switch being just flipped out of nowhere and this team going and only losing 2 more games. Like, I don't see it. Like, they're a mess. The defense doesn't look anywhere like they used to. The
O-line is trash.
The O-line is terrible. It was terrible last year. But Rodgers doesn't look like a 28-year-old Rodgers. So, I mean, that's just not going to change either. Maybe, Davante learns the playbook a little more. Maybe him and Garrett Wilson, they have some games where they put up 40 points or something. That could happen. But
I mean, Garrett looked like that interception that were almost a pick six. That was off Garrett Wilson. It hit him in the middle of the 5. It hit him in the chest.
Well, he had a few more drops than just that too. Like, he's had quite a few drops this season.
Yeah,
Aaron Rodgers is hitting him with perfect balls, and he's just dropping them.
Yeah, and players running the wrong routes, and I mean they're a mess. They're wrong all. I mean it's a terrible mess. But I don't know. I think they're too far behind. I mean, I don't even know about wild card, because you're gonna have Steelers in a wild card spot. They're not gonna take over the Ravens, but they're probably gonna be in a wild card spot. I don't know. Jets, obviously, they're not taking the division. Miami's a whole different team with Tua. I'm not saying that they're elite or anything, but but they're a different team. I don't know if they beat them twice.
You have the Bengals, who are 3 and 4, who's right there. Their schedule's not that challenging the rest of the year neither. I mean, I'm not trying to ride Joe Burrow or anything, but like, legitimately, their schedule's not that hard, and their offense is playing pretty good. As long as defense stays on, just average, they can maybe win some games. So it's not just the Jets that are right behind. I mean, like I said, you have some teams there. AFC North could have 3 teams just right there. With those, obviously, Cleveland's not making it.
No.
Chargers could make it. I mean, their schedule's – sorry, Chris, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, time's running out. They're 2 and 5 right now. The offense doesn't look clicking. Aaron Rodgers looks rough. I mean, the best player of that game was Hall. Hall looked outstanding.
Yeah.
But, I mean, most of that was some garbage time. I mean, I don't know.
He's having a good career. Start to a career. I'm sorry.
Yeah, start to a career. I mean, I made that joke in the beginning that, like, they got Davante Adams and the offense looked so solid, and then they had that really good solid drive right after. And you said something about it, Mark.
I was quick. I was like, I was quick to that and then I ate my words because they looked like shit after that drive. They didn't do nothing.
Nothing.
And like Luke said, Garrett Wilson's he's not playing like Garrett Wilson. I mean, I know, Jake, you've mentioned it off air. Is Garrett Wilson even that good? Like, is he overrated? I mean, not saying he's not good, but is he overrated? Is he overhyped? So, I mean, he kind of doesn't look that good right now.
Yeah.
You know who doesn't look good, Chris and Luke? The San Francisco 49ers. They are 3 and 4, and they are in 3rd place in the NFC West at the moment. And Jake, what was that thing you texted us in Discord? What was that comment you finally made to me about the coaching staff right now?
I mean, I don't even know where to start. It's a mess. Same old Niners. We're always hurt. But just some of these boneheaded plays that are being called and ran, and it's just the same thing over and over and over. I think it's time to switch coaches. I think, or at least it's heating up. It's getting there. Just because you can't just keep making excuses. Like, this is one of the best rosters to ever be put on paper, and we can't get it done. Like, I mean, I don't know what else there is to say. Like, there's no excuses to be made anymore. Yeah, we're hurt all over again. We've been hurt the last 10 years over and over and over. But like even last year, like this roster, we have so many Pro Bowl players on this roster with nothing to show for it. Like, something's going to have to be done at some point.
What's Shanahan's deal through? 27?
Yeah, him and Lynch.
Yeah, Chris, I mean, well, I've been saying how many coaches have I put on the hot seat so far? I know two of the guys, their coaches, your coaches should be fired. So I put in Harbaugh's, I'm reeling Harbaugh back a little bit because Harbaugh's still balling, but Shanahan's on my hot seat still. It's the ego thing. It's the way he is. When he gets to the Super Bowl, he does the opposite. With the Falcons, I will give him the Falcons that he stuck with the script of passing the ball. That's what got us in the Super Bowl. Wrong time to do it. But with the Niners, he does the opposite. He does the complete opposite of what got him there. Run the fucking ball. He wants to make Jimmy G and Brock Purdy look like superstars when you just need to run the ball.
Even the second half of the Super Bowl, give McCaffrey the ball. Like, I don't understand.
You overpay Ayuk. Debo is, I mean, I'm not wishing anything bad about Debo. He's hurt a lot, and he's going through stuff right now, which sucks. But he is nicked up a lot. And then your defense has been your defense played good against the Chiefs, but the Chiefs aren't playing good in general. But your defense looked bad against the Rams, who were hurt.
Our defense is atrocious this year. We have no pass rush besides Bosa at all. Non-existent. You got Malcolm Floyd every once in a while getting a little pressure, but it's Bosa and that's it. The defense looks terrible.
Chris Luke.
Yeah, I mean the Niners got the worst Madden curse known to man right now.
Best player ain't played a snap yet.
I know, and then fucking Brock Purdy's punching the air.
Our number one receiver this Sunday is going to be a guy that just got shot.
Yeah,
that's
how much everybody's going to throw on Fab on him.
That's literally all. I mean, Jawan Jennings is out hurt. Debo's got pneumonia. Ayuk's done for the season. It's literally going to be Ricky as our wide receiver one.
Does anyone have Ricky in our league? I thought someone picked him up. I think
I did, but then I dropped him. I think, or I might still have him. I picked him up for a minute, but I think I dropped him.
I might need a quarterback. That's all I know for a couple weeks.
CJ Stroud, call me.
I can probably have it, but I don't know, man. It's just weird because, like you said, the Niners. They obviously the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Lions. These were teams that were like favored this year to be good, and then the Niners have been, like you said, if a quarterback's healthy, they get at least an NFC Championship. I think y'all still win the division because I don't trust the Seahawks. I get it. I think Seattle is better than a lot of people think. They are 4-3. They did have that 3-game slid there, but I think y'all still sneak it out. I'm saying maybe like 9 or 10 win team you guys are going to be, and I think the Seahawks will be right behind y'all. I don't know. I think y'all are one and done in the playoffs, though. I think if it comes down to it, I think if you play any of the NFC North teams, and honestly, even Philly or the Commanders, if they both could get in, I think either of them could beat you too. I really do.
It depends on, I mean, what we have. Like, obviously, we got Drake Greenlaw coming back in 2 to 3 weeks. You got McCaffrey coming back in 2 to 3 weeks. Jawan, Debo, we're going to have everyone back besides Ayuk. Hufanga will be back. He broke his wrist, but he's already 2 weeks into that. So he'll be back soon. But it depends what roster it has. I'm not saying we're winning a Super Bowl, but I don't know about counting us out against Washington or someone like that. But
hey, if your defense doesn't wake up, Jane Daniels could easily drop 35 points on you guys.
I know. Watch Dak put 40 on us or something. That would just be fantastic.
Yeah, you guys can play the Cowboys this week.
Yeah, but Jacob suicide watch.
Well, another thing with the 49ers too is you got to pay. What are you going to do with Purdy? You going to pay him or not? Because you're in that situation where Shanahan is playing with fire. We're talking about He's playing with fire right now. Him and John Lynch. John Lynch will probably be safe. John Lynch will probably replace him if anything. If it comes down to that, if you pay Purdy and it doesn't work, I mean, how many different quarterback eras can you have under one coach and it doesn't win a Super Bowl?
I see the Chiefs exposed Purdy, in my opinion. I don't know if it's being talked about all over or not, but man to man, Purdy can't do it. If a defense plays man to man, he's lost because Purdy he anticipates where the receiver's going. So the way when he throws the football, he's throwing it ahead of the receiver. Like he leads his receivers when he throws the ball. That's how he plays. But Chiefs play man to man. You can't do that. And Purdy couldn't do anything versus Chiefs. And that's it. I mean, to me, he's exposed. I don't know if other teams are going to watch that film and see, but if they go man to man, Purdy looked horrible. Horrible.
Yeah, that's exactly what the Ravens did to him last year, and he threw 4 or 5 interceptions.
Yeah, that's exactly the two when he plays elite defensive coordinators, like he did with the Ravens, and then he just played the Chiefs. Obviously, in the Super Bowl too. The second half, they shut him down, but they're playing man to man, and that's when he had 4 or 5 picks against the Ravens.
I was with Luke that game too. Yeah. It was like another one.
I don't know how.
Yeah, bench that game. Then their backup quarterback threw one.
Exactly, and the same thing with the Chiefs. They play man to man because Purdy anticipates he can't do that versus these man to man. Good defensive coordinators are realizing that. I don't know if they pick up the film, other ones, and expose them, but I saw it man to man. He can't do it. It's bad.
It's just the whole thing. It's just weird because, like I said, not that I hate Shanahan. I think he's still a great coach. It's just when me and Alan we're big on them. If you accept being the same and you don't, I get what the only thing you can really do is win a Super Bowl. That's the only thing you can really improve. I mean, but you're accepting mediocrity. I mean, if you continue the Super Bowl, that's great. But if you don't win it, or if you get to the championship game like Andy Reid did with the Eagles, it's just eventually time is time. And then, I mean, maybe you bring a new young hot shot in at that time. I don't know who's going to be a coaching candidate in the next 3 years from now. It's hard to tell, but to me, it's mediocrity because of how loaded they are, how deep they are as a team. And now you're about to be paying your quarterback. So this whole, manipulating the cap system, that's great. Teams do it, but you can't manipulate it forever because you're going to have to pay your quarterback. It's still hard to do. So it's just going to be very challenging in the next couple of years if you pay Purdy and you don't win a Super Bowl now.
I think Debo gets traded either now in the offseason. At some point, Debo's going to get traded, and then that'll be used to pay Purdy. Even though we have $55 million in cap space right now, but he's played well enough to get paid. I'm not making him the highest paid quarterback, but I'm not going to knock him and say he doesn't deserve to get paid. Because he's played good. I mean, unless he plays the Ravens or the Chiefs, other than that, he plays great. But
a lot of teams struggle against those two teams.
He'll get paid. I mean, and obviously he'll be the quarterback for a while, but like you said, this roster is too talented to keep making excuses for Shanahan. So,
yeah, I mean, and you mentioned the Chiefs. That's the next topic. Second to last before we go on to college, the Kansas City Chiefs are the last team to be 6-0, and they are forgot the last team that won the Super Bowl and was the last unbeaten team, but it's been a while. And the question though is, being 6-0, are the Kansas City Chiefs still overrated? I know they have a top defense, but are they overrated? Mahomes has got 6 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. He, to me, doesn't look like Patrick Mahomes. I get it, last year he struggled, but he was still way better. He was miles ahead of what he was last year compared to this year. Are the Chiefs still overrated? Are they just playing bad teams? I get they played the Ravens. They played a couple of good teams, but are they just right now a product of who they're playing? Yeah,
this one's tough because obviously whatever they're doing is working still. Like their defense is keeping them in the games. I mean, I'm not going to lean too much on the Ravens game just because it was week one.
It was week 1.
Then we were a toe away from tying the game up and probably going for 2 and maybe winning that game. So just a bad beat right there, which kind of sucks. But I mean, Ravens played them tough. I mean, every team's pretty much playing fairly tough. It just except the 49ers, obviously, but each quarterback was just throwing up gifts to the defense pretty much. I think Patrick Mahomes had 2 or 3 interceptions too.
Yep.
This game. Then Purdy had 3. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it was just defensive game here. I don't know who the Chiefs have next week.
They have the Raiders.
Oh, so yeah, they'll move on to 7-0.
I really think that the first loss, I've been saying it all year. I mean, I had the Chiefs start off good because I thought the offense was going to be fine. You know, I thought with Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown, and Rashee Rice, all of them, well, Rashee Rice and Hollywood Brown currently out for the year. Hollywood can maybe be back for the playoff run. But I thought the offense was going to be fine, and I had them starting 9-0, and I had them doing what they normally do, lose to the Buffalo Bills in the regular season. I had them going into Buffalo and losing.
It's crazy what they're doing on offense with just a bunch of scrubs, though. I'm like, they're still winning games with nobody on their offense. Like they have backup. All the receivers are pretty much backups besides Worthy. All their running backs are backups. They have Kelsey, but
Kelsey's 54 years old.
Yeah, Kelsey's old, and they're still winning games. Like it was a little ridiculous. So you have Mahomes out here trucking defenders.
Mustafa, our rookie
dude too.
Well, Mahomes said that Mahomes says he's fat, so that's why he's able to do it.
I'm not ready to call him overrated. Obviously, I mean they're 6-0, but this is the same Chiefs that we had last year. Going into the playoffs, the Chiefs looked terrible. O-line couldn't block. Their offense wasn't scary. They went into the playoffs, and I'm like, there's no way the Chiefs are winning it this year.
But this is way worse. I mean, this is way worse, though.
Yeah, but they went into the playoffs and dominated and won the Super Bowl again. So I mean, I'm not counting them out. I don't know. And we'll revisit it after the trade deadline. I mean, if they don't make any moves, you know, we'll go from there and see if they're really going to do something with this roster. But I feel like they have to get a receiver at some point.
Go get Hopkins.
I mean, maybe a Hopkins, maybe I don't think the Bengals would trade with them for Higgins, but I mean Cooper. I doubt that. I agree.
You think Panthers would trade Deontay Johnson or Thielen? I know we mentioned that a couple weeks ago. Do you think they would trade one of those two away?
They would, absolutely. I mean, Cooper Kupp. I mean, it's on the table, and the Rams would probably be better off wanting to trade him to the AFC instead of the NFC anyway. But I mean, who knows? But I'm not ready to call them overrated yet. I mean, they're 6-0, and I mean, their schedule hasn't been a cake walk. I mean, they did have the Ravens, they did have the Niners. Wasn't all scrubs. Wasn't like the Bears and all their wins are against one-win teams. You know, so I'm not there yet, but we'll see after the trade deadline and see what they're looking like. I mean, they're getting Pacheco back too.
Yeah, and Kareem Hunt's not playing. I mean, Kareem Hunt's playing pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. He only averaged like 3-something yards a carry, but still, like those are big runs. He had 2 touchdowns.
Pacheco will open up that offense too, though, because you got to worry about Pacheco catching and running. So.
And Kelsey was good the last couple weeks. This week he kind of came back to the beginning of the season. Kelsey was kind of playing pretty productive the last 2 weeks. It's just he came back to reality. I mean, or back to his current reality. And like you said, in the playoffs it's different. I mean, we all know Mahomes can turn it on. I mean, I feel like Mahomes is still playing good. Like if you watch him, I feel like he is playing good. It's just
he's playing better than his stats look like. I'll give you that.
Yeah. Well, he's playing with a bunch of scrubs.
That's true too.
Like some guy, pretty much none of these guys he threw to in training camp.
Yeah, but the thing is
Worthy's not like a do-it-all wide receiver. He's a pretty much a little gadget guy for the most part. He can get over the top, or he'll run a jet sweep or something like that. But he's not like a big body wide receiver that can go catch a ball down the middle.
But the thing is, the problem though, and I'm obviously I think Mahomes is still the best quarterback in the league. The thing is, we compare him to Tom Brady, right? And we said for years Tom Brady didn't have the biggest name guys, the biggest name receivers. It was all like these slot receiver type guys that were playing. So I get it. Edelman was there most of the time. You know, he wasn't. I don't think Edelman was a scrub. Don't get me wrong, but you know, if he made these, but he has Kelsey, so it's like, I mean, that Gronk argument goes away.
He's still 6-0 though.
But it's not because of him necessarily. It's right now the defense. He's made some key plays when it matters. Don't get me wrong, but it's 6-0.
Brady always had a top defense too.
He did, and I would say, imagine if this was the beginning years of Mahomes. Imagine if the defense wasn't good. His team might be 2-4.
Oh, for sure.
So it's just one of those things to think about. Like you said, the playoffs is different, and we're 7 weeks in, boys, and I think we're kind of on the consensus of who it is, but through 7 weeks, we're just a third of the way done. Who is the MVP right now? Like, you know, we've seen everyone play. Some games have played 6 games, but who is your MVP right now?
I mean, for me, it's clearly Lamar. Like, not even an argument. He does it all. Like the offense runs through Lamar. Yeah. I mean, Derrick Henry's playing very well too.
He opens the field.
Derrick Henry's only on the field like half the time. Lamar's on. He's doing everything. He's taking big shots down the field. And everybody says he can't throw, but he had a perfect passer rating last week with 5 touchdowns. He's second in the league for touchdowns as it is. He also has 400 or 500 rushing yards too on top of that, and some couple rushing touchdowns. I mean, yeah, Goff's playing well too, but Goff's not doing what Lamar's doing. It's tough. Like Goff's not a runner, so he's not that dynamic of a quarterback. Plus, Goff's offense is fucking stacked compared to what the Ravens are.
I will say, I agree. It's Lamar. I think Goff, and I get it. Like, Josh Allen struggled against 2 good teams in the Texans and the Ravens, but I still say the fact that he had less talent not compared to Lamar, compared to Jared Goff. Not saying that Josh Allen's running back is pretty good, and Dalton Kincaid, I still think is nice, but they don't use him as much. Josh Allen, out of the 3 quarterbacks, I believe is in a less ideal situation. Now he's Amari Cooper. We'll see if that changes the play in Buffalo. But the fact he's got 10 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, he's had a fumble loss. That's it, or whatever. He's
had all fumbles lost. Josh Allen's had a lot of turnover-worthy throws.
Every quarterback has that, though.
No, he's had a lot. Like they even said it on the last primetime game. He's hitting defenders in the chest. They just keep dropping them.
But like you said,
I know he hit Nate Wiggins twice in the chest, and he dropped both of them.
But like Mahomes, he's playing with scrubs before Cooper got there.
Yeah, he's playing with the first-round draft pick wide receiver.
Yeah, he's playing with.
Here's what Coleman.
Who? Coleman was second. Coleman was second.
First round. You sure?
Yeah, they traded out twice out of that pick. They traded out.
He's basically a first round pick.
Yeah, well, Mahomes is playing with a first round wide receiver.
Yeah, which they Chiefs should have taken Coleman over Worthy. I think.
I mean, I'm just saying,
agreed.
I'm just saying, though, out of the situation, no one expected, and the fact that you guys all say he turns the ball over a lot, especially interceptions, he's not doing that this year, and he is 5-2.
He had one game that had 7 completions in one game or 9 completions.
I get it. He struggled.
And he's barely throwing for 200 passing yards.
You can take Josh Allen out of your MVP running. Josh Allen's had multiple bad games.
I don't know why he's so high on Josh Allen. Yeah, it confuses me too.
Lamar's had zero bad games.
Lamar is the MVP. I'm saying guys that are my top 3 or 4 is who I'm saying. Like, I have it as Lamar's number 1. I'm not going to argue that. I think it's between then Goff and Allen.
You had Allen number 2 though. That's the issue.
I said it's either or. I haven't really confirmed that. And then if the Bengals start winning, if the defense wakes up a little bit and I know they're 3 and 4, Burrow is not playing bad. Burrow's 14 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He's 6th in passing yards, and he's top 3 in QBR. Joe Burrow is not playing bad. I don't care if you hate Joe Burrow or not. I get it. We didn't like Lamar that much, but I'm going to give him his flowers. Joe Burrow is playing great football. I don't care what anyone says. Joe Burrow is playing great football at the moment.
He didn't play great the last 2 weeks. He struggled against the Giants. He struggled against the Browns.
I don't think he was struggling against the Browns. He had 70-something police percentage, and he had 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. I mean, again, they didn't ask for him to throw the ball 300 yards. That's not what he was to do.
The Bengals had the football the entire game because their fucking Browns offense couldn't do shit.
Yeah, they ran the ball.
Their time of possession was a lot.
Well, they ran the ball.
They ran the ball and they weren't scoring. Like they didn't score until the 3rd quarter on offense. Yeah, 3rd quarter is they scored 2 touchdowns and that was it. That's all they scored against the Browns.
If you're talking overall 7 weeks.
A 1-win team that was on their 3rd quarterback.
Struggled
all they could do is score 2 touchdowns on offense.
And struggle against the Giants.
Well, the Giants, but as much as we're nagging on the Giants, it's so I get you only scored 17 points against the Giants, but that defense is leading the league in sacks. That defense is actually good in New York. So they're not scoring against the offense; they have to score against the defense. So the defense is still good on one side. Like the Giants play good defense.
Yeah, but that defense is on the field a lot because how bad the Giants' offense is.
Correct. That too.
I get that.
My MVP is Lamar, as we talked about earlier. I have Goff as 2nd. He's not, obviously he doesn't have the rushing yards, but he is throwing the ball more, and his numbers are insane. He's 72 for 92 the last 4 games, somewhere in there, 70 something and 90 something. His numbers are crazy. He's throwing the ball a lot. Really good numbers. Like, I'm not arguing for him to be number one. It's Lamar.
He's up there,
right
though.
now.
Yeah, he's up there.
Yeah, but he's up there. He's balling. And I've never been a huge Goff fan. I mean, he was, good at Cal, but he's balling.
He's
So I have him as
a year.
Yeah.
He went to a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. And it was a championship last year too. I mean, I do think though, like you said, if Lamar stumbles a little bit, that's where Goff can maybe put his name in first. And he's 84% completion percentage last 4 games too. That actually just topped Jaden Daniels, who just set that record, or who's had that record now.
It's nuts, and it's not like he's throwing the ball 5 times. Like, he's throwing the ball.
Yeah, he's playing great. It's an interesting thing that Lamar, I mean, Lamar's not, he's already won it twice, but the fact that Goff is up there, and we'll see who else. I mean, if Love maybe would have played those 2 games, maybe he would have been in there. I mean, he's got 15 touchdowns and only, I think, 4 or 5 games played. Like, he would probably easily be leading the league in touchdowns if he would have played those 2 games that he missed. But Love can maybe make a name for himself too if he continues to grow and top these guys, because Love is slinging the ball. Like, Love is actually playing pretty good. So
yeah, he's playing good. I mean, if Jaden Daniels had some of these other guys' rosters, I think he'd have some crazy numbers too. But
someone mentioned Daniels in my office. Like, it's just the problem is he doesn't have the stats.
He's not in my MVP, and he's not top 5.
I know.
I'm just saying, I wish you could see him with some of these other players' rosters.
Yeah, he's got to get his weight up. He's too fragile.
Yeah.
Luke needs him.
Lost my fantasy. God, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Hey, I was close to losing fantasy because of him. Because like Jake said, oh shit, who was the guy on Sunday night? Brees Hall. He's like, yeah, Brees Hall ended you. I was like, yeah, he ended me, but Jane Daniels was going to cost me. If Jane Daniels would have costed me the win, I would have been pissed. But Derrick Henry did Derrick Henry things, and that's why I need it. So, boys, it is that time of the night where we talk college now, and we'll start with the big game of the week.
Hey, flip your hat up. Flip your hat over.
Yeah.
Wear it upside down.
Exactly.
So, number 1 at the time, Texas. At the time, number 5, Georgia in Austin, Texas. Georgia just their defense. That was the defense that everyone expected, in my opinion. That should have been there all year. The defense was struggling the last few weeks. They woke up. When they woke up at the right time, they did against number 1. Texas's offense looked like children. Compared, in my opinion, looked like children to grown men. They looked like Texas wasn't well prepared. It looked like Georgia just wanted it more. It looked like they were clear-cut favorites. I wasn't still impressed with Georgia's offense that well. I get Etienne had 3 touchdowns, but I believe Etienne had good rushing yards because our defense was gassed as well, because our offense kept turning the ball over. We had 3 turnovers, or 4 turnovers on offense, but we forced 3. I felt like our defense played good enough to win the game, but our offense played like trash. Didn't matter who the quarterback was. Georgia was just the best team, and maybe they are still the best team in the nation when it's all said and done.
Yeah. Them or Oregon. Well, Oregon's playing very well too. I mean, they beat one of the top teams already.
They did.
And I think Oregon's got a really good shot to just run the table too. Looks like.
I may have picked Oregon. Didn't I pick Oregon on the show?
Yeah, I picked Oregon.
I had it written down.
I had Texas winning by more than 8 points in this game, so I was way off. Georgia hasn't impressed me, but man, do they look good against Texas. I don't know if it was a grown man against some boys situation or what it was, but man,
Kirby got the boys fired up.
It was not a game. Yeah,
no, he showed them the game day picks. Kirby went in the locker room. Everybody picked Texas.
I mean, I did say last week it was more of a must win for Georgia, and they played it as like they truly felt that they wanted that game way more than Texas. I know that's very cliche because, I mean, everyone wants it, but they look like they wanted that game. They look like they're well more prepared. They look like they knew what our offense was going to do before our offense did it. They were in the right place, the right time. And I get it. Jake and Alan and Luke, you all 3 were like, hey, it's time to bench yours. And I was like, I was getting on board because I was getting sick and tired of seeing that. Maybe it does spark a little bit. Maybe Manning comes in. First few plays, Manning was doing the same thing Quinn was doing.
He did the exact same thing. He fumbled it and everything else.
And then on the one play, he could have sparked it. He went deep instead of the guy that was underneath for like 15, 20 yards, and that could have changed everything. And then Quinn came back in after the halftime, and he looked better. Third quarter, we got back to 8 points. And then the fourth quarter happened, and we just couldn't do anything once again. Our offense it just one of those nights. It sucks to say it's Georgia. I mean, Georgia's good. I never said Georgia was bad. I didn't think it was going to be a blowout either way, but
I don't agree that it was only a must-win for Georgia. Like, this was Texas's time to show that they're the real deal.
We control our destiny still.
Yeah, yes, but I mean, this was a chance for Texas to show that they mean business. They're the best team in the nation, playing the SEC favorite.
Yeah,
I mean, we could win out.
Texas hasn't really played anybody yet. Yeah,
no,
we played Michigan, but Michigan's not even ranked anymore.
Michigan's
terrible.
Yeah, Michigan's got a good defense, and Oklahoma only good defense. That's the same. They're only good defense.
When's the next time Texas plays a ranked team?
This week.
Oh no, yeah, this weekend.
This week we play Vanderbilt.
I forgot Vandy's ranked.
We play we'll play A&M and College Station in the season.
Yeah,
so like we could win out and actually not make the conference championship game because if LSU wins out, Georgia wins out, and we win out, then it'll be Georgia versus LSU. But we'll make the playoffs at 11 win with no conference game played. We'll make it 11
A&M if they lose to LSU but still win out.
Well, if we lose to A&M and they lose to LSU and they beat LSU, yeah, we wouldn't make it anyways. But if we win out and LSU wins out, Georgia wins out, we're not in the championship, but we'll make the playoffs at 11-1. So that's kind of what Chris was saying. He would like that scenario too, where you make it at 10-2, us would be 11-1 and don't play in the conference championship game because if Chris and them lose it at 10-3, yeah, they don't make it. LSU wouldn't make it at all.
It's about to get really interesting because I think the SEC is wide open. I think almost any team could beat any team in the SEC, and that goes for all the conferences. Really,
yeah, right here.
Big Ten's a little more closed, the most closed off. I think at this point.
I mean,
Oregon's already beat Ohio State, and there's not really that much competition at the top.
But it's still wide open though because Ohio State can still make it. Like you said, Indiana,
yeah, they can still make it. Yeah. Yeah,
I'm not saying Indiana's great or anything, but you have Penn State at 3-0, Illinois at 3-1 in the conference. I mean, it says Indiana's right there. Ohio State. It's still pretty wide open in the Big Ten.
Yeah, I think that one's the most closed off though. The Big 12 is just a fucking mess.
Yeah, it is.
ACC is actually pretty wide open too, honestly, because you have Pitt.
Miami's kind of running away with it. I think. Unfortunately, because I wanted them to start fucking losing some of these games they should lose.
When I say wide open, though, I mean like teams that could be in the championship game. That's where it's wide open.
Well, once you move down to two teams, yeah, but like because Big Ten and ACC both have their top tier teams still.
Well, but SMU's unbeaten. Pitt's playing pretty good ball. They're unbeaten.
They got one non-conference loss. Right.
But still 6-1. But that loss doesn't matter though for the conference game.
I told you about SMU. Yeah, you guys were.
No. You did, but then week 1, you're like, hey, maybe they're not that good.
I don't remember who they played, but it was not a good team.
It was pretty bad. I think that it's all 4 conferences though: the ACC, Big Ten, the Big 12, SEC. It's wide open for. I mean, there's like 4 or 5 teams that legitimately can make the championship game, and then of course, if you win, you're in the playoffs. It doesn't matter if you what your record is. You're in the playoffs. So it's pretty exciting.
Not even the conferences, just the whole college football as a whole is wide open. There's not a clear-cut favorite at all.
You have Army and Navy, who's unbeaten. You have Army 7-0 and Navy 6-0. There you go, Luke. There's your Army Navy reference. So
yeah, both ranked. First time
both ranked.
1960.
Both will only have 11 games before the conference championship game, and then the last game doesn't matter for ranking. So they got to change that.
Did they not count this Army Navy game as a ranking? It's just an exhibition game.
It's their 12th game, but it doesn't matter the conference championship game because they play the conference game the week before. That's why they could literally play each other back-to-back weeks.
Well, say the loser of that. Say they go both teams go undefeated up until the conference championship. So, the loser wins the Army Navy game the next week.
So, like for example, so let's say Army plays Navy. They're both 11-0, right? Let's say Army beats Navy in the championship game.
Yep. Then Navy beats Army in the
next week. Doesn't matter. Army would be in the playoffs if they got that fifth spot because the rankings come out the following Sunday.
Well, I mean, if Army's 11-1, I think they might make a playoff spot still.
Well, Boise's higher, right? But
for now. I'm talking perfect world.
Yeah.
But if Army and Navy are unbeaten going into that first week in December, they play each other in the AAC championship, and Army wins, and say Boise falls out somewhere, Army's that last spot. If Navy turns around and beats them wherever they play out this year, Army's already in the playoffs. Army could literally, they're going to play for pride, of course, but if they lose the Navy, they're already in the playoffs. It doesn't matter to them at that point.
Yeah.
They've already made it. So that's what people are asking for them to change. That's why people want them to change it because now that last game, it matters for pride, but it doesn't matter for anything for the playoffs.
Well,
and your winning percentage is based off less games too.
Yeah, I don't know how they should do it now since they're both in the same conference. Like, yeah, I get it. Like trying to have a game like solo game by itself, but make them face each other rivalry week right at the end.
Yeah,
do it as like the only night game, or I can't do that. Or put it on a different day.
Put like on well, it's hard because you have games on Thanksgiving Friday and Saturday. Put on the Sunday. But you have NFL Sunday. So I mean,
there's no good place to put it where it's like the solo game.
I'm not gonna lie. I honestly don't care that much about the Army Navy game when they put because I don't care for the style. Anywhere. I know it's not. I just don't care for the style. It's boring football to me. It's fun to watch now that they're unbeaten. Don't get me wrong. It's a cool storyline. I don't truly care as much about the academy schools when it comes to them playing because I get Army's got some passes this year. Okay, I get it. They have some
passes too.
They have some, but it's not the
same.
same.
Army quarterback in the Heisman running.
He's not in the
He's the number one PFF ranked quarterback in the nation.
He's not playing on the level of the.
He's got the most.
Genty.
He's got more rushing touchdowns than Genty.
By how much?
I don't know. He's got a few.
And I have a question. How many quarters has he been benched like Genty has this year?
Hey, don't matter.
Yeah, I mean, Genty's missed like a combined like a game and a half.
Being benched isn't a stat, though. I mean, hey.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Heisman's a stat.
Yeah, but
stat trophy.
But does he have more combined yards than Genty?
It's probably pretty close. He has like 900 passing and like 400 or 500 rushing.
I think Genty's already at like just strictly 1,400.
So they're neck and neck on total yards.
And Cam Ward, I get it, like we don't like Miami, but Cam Ward is balling out. Like I mean, I'm gonna give Cam.
I can't say that, dude. Like,
Miami should have
it's so weird to watch him play.
God.
I'm not gonna lie. I said it. No one bid on the bait. I actually said before Russell got hot. I get you, Russell. I don't think Russell's the future. I say if Cam Ward falls, draft Cam Ward. Let him develop behind Russell Wilson for a couple of years.
He's not passing the Raiders.
I can see the Raiders though drafting Sam Darnold, or I'm sorry, signing Sam Darnold long term.
Sanders?
No.
Well, yeah, because Brady's been training him, and he's picking.
Brady's been training him. Oh, the owner Mark Davis talked him up at a Vegas basketball game.
I did.
He was chatting him up, saying that hey, this could be your home.
And I have a buddy in my office that says that Brady wants more of a quarterback like his style. I was like, I don't know. I think Brady's kind of okay with the modern style quarterback now, where you can scramble.
Brady's like the biggest fan of like Lamar. Like,
he loves Lamar.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm sure he's probably jealous that he couldn't play like that.
I don't know. It's just back to it's just called. I mean, it's just. By the way, that's gonna be a fun. I know you said, Luke, that the court or the class in general this year is not as fun. I think it's still going to be a fun first round mock draft this year. Honestly, looking at some of these
interesting to see who's going to bite on these quarterbacks, because I don't like them, but of course quarterbacks can be overdrafted like they always are.
I'll agree,
because it also depends like which team. If let's say the Vikings want to bring Sam Darnold back for 2 more years and let JJ like kind of pull the Jordan Love and Aaron Rodgers route and like let him sit for a couple of years, he's young enough to do that. Or does another team like the Raiders or like the Giants maybe give Darnold a chance, somebody like that?
That's a terrible decision. Just let Darnold fade off into the past.
But it is showing though. But it is showing though. If you give Darnold talent, like I said, maybe he is somewhat competent. He didn't have an ideal situation in Carolina or the Jets. He actually has a good situation in Minnesota, and he's not looking terrible. He played pretty good against the Lions. Actually, he had a terrible throw. That branch came out and he picked it off. I get it, but he still played it pretty well. Pretty good game against the Vikings or against the Lions. I
can't wait. When's the Vikings and Bears game? When's that?
Oh, it's later. It's later in the year.
I can't wait.
Yeah, it's been feisty every Sunday. Doc and Riz go at it.
I know, it's great.
Every time they go at it, I'm on FaceTime with Riz when it just happens. When I get on FaceTime with Riz, Doc automatically I don't know how it works that way. Doc comes out of nowhere and he just starts hammering the Vikings, and all Riz is like 5-0, better record than your team. And he said some other colorful things too that I'm not going to say, but
it gets spicy in there. I was like, damn, I'll be sitting there just reading it. I'm glad somebody else is going at Doc because he wants to go after Lamar.
I've been pretty quiet this year, actually.
Doc's been quiet about Lamar too, which has been nice.
Oh, happy birthday, CJ, too, buddy of mine. Happy birthday, man. But no, yeah, I've been pretty quiet this year with talking. I mean, Florida State, I talked a lot of shit, obviously. Had to.
You have to talk shit about them. Yeah.
Have to.
Now it's not even funny anymore at this point.
Yeah, it's just pathetic.
No, yeah, it got boring. It got boring.
Hey, once you lose 4 games, then your team's done anyways.
They're done. Yeah.
It'll be fun to talk about it anymore, just because we
Florida. If the Gators beat them, I'll bring up the shit talking once again. That's the week.
I will too. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I mean, I've been pretty quiet in the chats.
Watch that be Florida State's second win is against Florida.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
I think the most I've talked about is clap back at Allen when he comes in with college talk because he doesn't know how he told me I need to stay in my lane with the NBA. He's got to stay in his lane with college football because he comes in there. He's talked the most in college football. Tennessee has
college football.
He didn't even know who they were playing week 2 when he said what time's the Arkansas and Tennessee games? Like, bro, you guys play NC State, not even in the right state. You could have said like Duke or whatever. I don't understand, but baseball too. He's got to stay in his lane a little bit too. He came out and said that baseball has the most parity this year, or last 10 years. I don't agree with that, but. Speaking of Luke, I know it's not your realm, but NBA did start tonight. The Celtics did dominate the New York Knicks. Jason Tatum had 37 points. He dropped 8 3-pointers, Jake. So Celtics look like they are picking up where they left off.
Oh, yeah, they look good. It was ring night. They weren't going to lose tonight. But also, Rudy Gobert just got paid.
Yes, he did.
3-year, $110 million.
Also, we're going to see LeBron's debut with LeBron James in a couple minutes. That's starting up. I think actually just started up, but
it's already started. Yeah, but they're saying probably the start of the second quarter is when they'll both touch the floor together.
Yeah,
and then we have to see it all week long. The replay and the replay and the replay.
Yeah. But tomorrow we'll be back. I'm not sure who's all here. I think Luke says he's going to try and hop on tomorrow.
I might be able to. We'll see.
Tony might be making an appearance tomorrow. Jake, I'm not sure if you're going to be here. Chris, he's been hit or miss lately, so it's hard to tell with him.
Yeah.
But
maybe I'm on tomorrow. Then I'll go on a little 2-week vacation in San Antonio.
Yeah, I will be in Florida next week. I'll be doing the show from Tony's house next week, both episodes. So get to see Jake. Jake goes to Twin Peaks. I got to go back. I went back and watched the MLB episode. It started off as Buffalo Wild Wings, it was like Applebee's or Chili's, and I said just bar, and we mentioned a couple drinks. A couple means 2, so he gives me 2 beers and some food. Sitting at the bar. Maybe we'll find a night. I'll bring my Yankees jersey. Hopefully it's during the World Series night, and we'll go catch part of the World Series game.
Oh shoot! Yeah, we could pick a night when the Yankees are playing.
Yankees play Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, so we'll have to be Monday, or if we go to Game 6, I know it's your date night, but it'd be Friday night.
Monday, I'm still on vacation, I think.
Tuesday, Wednesday's hard because we have the show.
Yeah, but maybe Monday night.
Yeah, maybe Monday night. It'll be Game 3. Do it from do it from Twin.
Yeah, go live from the bar.
Yeah, right.
No, hopefully we're sitting at the bar. I don't want to sit at a table. I prefer sit. I don't know. I've never been to Twin Peaks. Well, I've been to Twin Peaks in a long time. Do they have? I'm assuming they have fucking TVs at the bar, right? Jake.
Oh yeah, ton.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, ton.
Yeah, my Aaron Judge DH Gate jersey came in over the weekend, so that one came pretty quick.
Got lucky there. My
other 2 jerseys, one has been shipped but has not been here yet, and the other one hasn't been shipped yet. And I ordered them at the same time.
Sometimes they take a month or 2.
As long as the one that I ordered a Vince Young jersey, as long as that one gets here before September, because I'm going to Columbus and watch Texas and Ohio State next year. As long as that shit comes here before the summer, I'll be happy. Just need that before the summer. But great show tonight, boys. It was good to talk NFL, good to talk in a little bit NBA, college football. And Thursday night, I think we're going to do a little 15-minute episode. Me and Jake. All World Series preview, all World Series prediction, Yankees in 7. That's what I'm going to say now, but we'll talk about it on Thursday night. That's Luke Rule. That's Jake Winnicott. Shout out to Chris, who made a guest appearance for a little bit. I'm Mark Davis. This is all the Boss Podcast. Good night.